All right, well, I am headed out and we are going to go pick up our side-by-side right now. All right, we made it. River and sea. Let's go see.
How you're gonna get out.
I'm just gonna crawl through.
Yeah, if you want to pop that up.
That's why I was asking. That was one of the first questions I had was, can one of the windows open up? Because otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get out.
Yeah.
That is a tight fit right there. All right, well, there we are. We got ourselves a nice side-by-side. It's going to be very useful for plowing the snow on our long driveway that we have, and it's a really good tool for Alaska, especially when you want to go on adventures or hunting. That's one thing about Alaska is that you almost need these kind of things in order to do that type of hunting or something similar. There's always the cheaper option, maybe a four-wheeler or something like that, but I wanted something I can bring all the family with, including the young babies. So there we are. We got it, and we're headed back. Welcome back to Good Living Alaska. So today, as you can see, we got ourselves a new ATV. We're actually going to go spend some time together. My mom is in town and she's been here for about 2 weeks and she is taking care of the kids right now. So we are going to have a little date night. And something that came up we started talking about is expenses and how much it costs to visit Alaska. So we thought we'd take this opportunity, go out, do a little bit of mudding in the rain here, and talk about the expenses of Alaska.
It'll probably be the last time that we get away, just the two of us, for a little while. So we packed a little picnic charcuterie container here. So we're going to go do that. And yeah, we just wanted to tell you guys how much it costs to come up here in the summer. We have a family coming to visit, his parents, my parents, and it is not cheap coming up here in the summer just to visit family. So we thought we'd share those expenses with you because we, even living here, find it very interesting, and we thought you would too. So let's go mudding and do a little sightseeing and talk about it.
A little adventure date.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. All right, we got heat and AC. What do you think, babe?
I love it. I am all for the heat, especially on rainy days like this. And believe it or not, a lot of ATVs here in Alaska are open, or they just have the tarp to close it off. So really thankful that we were able to get this one, because especially with having kids, it is amazing, especially with the cooler weather, we can still go and have fun.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in no conversations.
A little bit of mud.
Cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever.
Ah, you can still see the mountains, huh?
Yeah, so even though the weather's not the best today, we get to still enjoy the beautiful mountain view. So,
At least off in the distance.
yeah.
All right, so I think we made it to the spot here. We're on the top of a hill in a trail here, way back in the woods, close to where we live, but it's still pretty far away. And I like this spot because you can see the mountains right here. So I think we'll just stick around here, watch some of the rain, see the mountains, and we can talk about the prices of what it costs to be able to come visit Alaska, especially during the busy time of season that's coming up.
Yeah, so this is the first time that we've had a baby in the summertime and been in Alaska. So Harrison is a December baby, Blakely is a February baby, and this one is a May baby, which is the start of summer. You know, we have a very short summer here. It's only through about 3 months. So May kicks off summer. And so you will definitely see higher prices. And that's a little bit of shock to people coming to visit, but especially family coming to visit, because they're staying for longer periods of time, 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes longer. So that's a long time. And we are only in a 1-bedroom.
Yep.
And we have...
At least we got 2 bathrooms, though.
Yeah, we have 2 bathrooms, but we have a 1-bedroom. And, when you have our 3 kids and one of them will be a newborn, the accommodations aren't the best. So with that, we have to do Airbnb. That's also an added cost. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that.
And then we're also going to have a charcuterie board, which looks fantastic. We got some raspberries, some of that white cheddar cheese from Costco, macadamia nuts, blueberries, strawberries. Looks good.
Yeah.
We didn't buy it all at Costco, did we? I think we did.
Pretty much except for the fruit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just enjoying the little bit of time that we have left together. If you have kids or grandkids, it's hard to get away. So we are soaking up the last time we have until baby number 3.
So the first thing to any trip is, how do you get here? And we wanted to first say, for driving, you can spend anywhere from 3, if you're going to be driving all night, to 10 days getting up here. Some people take their time, stop at all the stops. If they have an RV, they'll stop at a lot of stops. But you're looking at 3,000 plus miles, depending on which route you take, to get all the way here to Alaska. Now, since that's not reasonable for our situation or our family situation, we talk about flights. Like most people will do, most people will fly.
Yeah.
And with flights, you're looking at per person round trip $400 to $600, depending on when you come up exactly. Of course, the earlier you come up in the season, like in May and June, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. But towards the end of June, July, you're looking at those higher prices, even seeing prices up to $800. It just depends on demand. I mean, it's all supply and demand, really.
That is also because that's when fishing season is, the height of fishing season.
And that's also when the prices of other things go up as well. Like we've already started to see an increase in gas prices, but we're going to show you that later because we actually have to get gas for both this little beast here and our van. And on top of that, whenever you're flying into Anchorage, if, for example, my family, they're also going to fly from Anchorage into Kenai. So that way we don't have to drive all the way around the pass in order to pick them up. And that is an extra $150 on top of it. So it comes out to about, like, for both my mom and dad, I think it was like $1,200 actually is what it came out to be after all the flights are included. And that would not even include the room for them to stay. And then that would not include getting a rental vehicle as well.
Now, my parents are going to be just flying into Anchorage and then driving. So rental car will be an additional cost, as well as Airbnb fees. So it adds up. We really appreciate them coming, but it is expensive. And then also, believe it or not, there is no direct flight to Anchorage until about June. There's just not enough supply and demand. They have a bunch of layovers. And so you have to take that into account when you're planning your trip, because it's probably going to take a couple days longer to get here and then get back home if you're coming before June. So there is potential layovers until about the beginning or middle of June. So speaking of rental cars, most people when they come to Alaska get a rental car, because how else are you going to get around? Because most people don't drive, right? So it is really important when you come to Alaska to plan ahead and secure you a rental car, because there's not as many as you would think. And it's super expensive. The longer you wait, the more expensive it's going to be, especially during the summertime. So during the summer, it's about $100 to $250 a day. And it can even be higher than that, especially if you're getting a bigger car. And in our experience, we have rented cars when we first came here.
Yeah, in fact, the first time that we actually came to Alaska, we had the cheapest car that we could find, which was like a cash rental, which was kind of interesting. The guy's like, I only take hundreds. That's it. No, only hundreds.
It was a little iffy, but it worked out.
I remember this guy, it ended up working out, but that was $2,000 a month. And I mean, that was in July. It was kind of like late July, which is really the most expensive time. But when I was looking at the rental cars from the rental companies, you're looking at least $150 a day, which was way more expensive. So whenever I found that cash deal, as this guy liked to call it, I was very happy, but still thinking about that. I mean, that's almost the price of a mortgage just to rent a vehicle, which is really insane. So you definitely want to plan ahead when it comes down to that. And, hey, if you have like point systems with your cards, maybe use those up. I don't know.
Also, a lot of people, like this guy was an individual doing it, but then a lot of people also post their cards like on Turo. and rent their cars out.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit cheaper, but definitely you want to get something that is reliable. So just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's the best. You would want something with 4-wheel drive.
Yep.
Even though it's not snowing, you need something with 4-wheel drive. And then you also want to make sure that whatever insurance or deal you have with the person, that it covers windshield cracks.
Yeah, that's a big problem here.
Rocks are a big deal here, especially in the springtime, because there's rock, the roads, even on the nicer roads, a lot of the roads are gravel and a lot of construction going on.
And as you saw in our last video, we just had our windshield repaired. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a thing that you have to do, is probably get some kind of coverage for your windshield.
Yes.
For it as well.
Yes, and make sure you take pictures before, because we've had that problem too, where they thought that we had cracked the windshield and the crack was actually already there, and we had pictures to prove it, so it wasn't an issue.
Yeah, thankfully.
But they'll try to get you to pay for it. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, make sure you take a picture. But rocks are a big deal here, so make sure you have coverage.
All right, so let's go ahead and take another little drive, huh? You want to
let's go see what else is out there. I'm hoping to see some wildlife. But
yeah, I'd like to find a moose maybe, but
we'll see.
We are getting kind of close to the refuge right now, but we're going to go ahead and take a drive here, because you can actually follow the power lines like what we're on right now, and also the gas lines. You can drive through those sections as well, because those are easements. And so we're going to go ahead and take a left up here and drive through the woods here.
I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part.
All right, so we made it to our next place. We're actually at the National Wildlife Refuge boundary here. Our next topic of conversation is food. As many of you know, with our recent economy, food prices have skyrocketed. Now, in general, Alaska, and more of what we know, being that we've lived in Soldotna, Alaska for such a long time, it is actually one of the cheaper places as far as food goes in Alaska, but is still higher than the national average, speaking of the lower 48. So even though it's more expensive than the lower 48, it is actually one of the cheaper places in Alaska to actually buy food. And for example, the store that Jillian visits most, and I visit with her sometimes if I'm not at work, she does a lot of things when I'm at work, is Fred Meyer. And Fred Meyer is very comparable to like a Kroger's if you'd find in the South, right?
So Fred Meyer is a Kroger.
Right. So it's the same brand.
It's the same company.
Yeah. They have like Kroger products even inside. You know, like
and if you know what a Kroger is, there's a bunch of different names. So it's Fred Meyer is similar to that.
Right.
We also have a Safeway, but in terms of sales and quality, Fred Meyer is our best option here.
Yeah, that's where we go mostly. Other than say maybe like Three Bears. Now that we live closer to Three Bears than we do to Fred Meyer, we'd go there for like quick things, like.
But we buy a lot of our meat right now at Fred Meyer when it's on sale. Because sometimes they'll get extra shipments in, and so they'll discount stuff because they'll get, it's hard to gauge.
They'll get over shipments.
They'll get over shipment, especially around the holidays.
Yeah, what happens a lot is they'll order, like for example, bacon. Bacon's what we usually go for when we're going for Fred Meyer. When it comes to like steaks and stuff, yes, if it's a really good deal, we'll get it at Fred Meyer. But most of the time we buy it from Costco because I like to buy the big pack, because you can get it for like $3.40 or I think the last sale was like $4.30 or something like that, or $4.50 a pound, which is a really good price for steak. And so we cut that up at Costco. But here at Fred Meyer, sometimes they also have that good of a deal, but more specifically for bacon. And they'll order a shipment of bacon and then it won't come. And then they'll order it again and then both show up.
And then there's the expiration date. And they have to get rid of it.
And they still have to follow the standard rules,
So recently I got bacon for $11.97 for 3 pounds. And that is really good for here. Yeah. So stocked up on that. But anyway.
And the double shipment of eggs too.
Yes. And after Easter, they had so many leftover eggs because they ordered once again. They ordered, it didn't come in. They ordered again and ended up getting the organic Simple Truth brown eggs 18 pack for $1.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So Mama loaded up on those.
Yeah, you did.
Even though we have our own chickens.
Well, you can't pass up $1
for 18 eggs. So we eat a lot of eggs.
Even if we just fed that straight to the chickens after cooking it, that's cheaper
and then
than
with
a feed.
our recent, if you saw our recent video, we lost some chickens. So it actually was good timing.
Yeah, it really was.
But anyway, so back to the prices.
So typically prices are like $75 to $100 a week per person here in Alaska. Now, I'm not sure what it is, the average down in the lower 48, but I know with price increases from y'all's comments, y'all say prices are kind of comparable to Soldotna, which is good to hear because, I mean, knowing that Alaska in general is more expensive, it's good to know that our food prices aren't so crazy in comparison to the rest of the lower 48. But
but you're looking at least $75 to $100 a person per week.
Yeah.
And that is not during tourist season.
Yeah.
So during the months, the summer months, prices actually go up because they can get away with it.
Yeah,
so you're looking at more than $75 to $100 per week. Yeah. And that is not eating out.
And plus, there's also something else I forgot to even mention is they actually have an extra tax here. So during the summertime, they actually throw an extra, like, I think it's 3% to equal a total of 6% tax rate on their sales products, but only during those 3 months of the summer. So that's why like prices go up more in the summer. And a lot of people, like a lot of locals around here, you'll see them like really stocking up during the winter to avoid that tax during the summer. It's kind of an interesting thing to see.
Yeah. I forgot about that. There is an extra tax. And then, eating out as well. It's not cheap to eat out here. Yeah. And honestly, the food is not good here.
With some exclusions, right?
With some exclusions.
Like there's a Mexican restaurant here that's Acapulco, and I think that they are really good.
They are good.
And then they also have a sister restaurant in Kenai. And then there's also that Chinese restaurant that you really, really like.
Yes, China Sea, which we have shown that in our videos.
Yeah.
So those are some of the better ones. But I'm talking about if you're coming as a tourist, do not be surprised if you're not happy with the prices and the food. When we came from Texas, that was a big adjustment for us. We were, on the road a lot, Harrison was still a baby. We're like, let's just go grab something. And we were very disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, most places that we've been to, we were kind of disappointed. Yeah. And the thing that's really more disappointing than anything, it's not really the taste. It's more of the price. Like, you can't believe the price. It's really the biggest thing.
You're looking at least...
I don't want to rag on all the restaurants, right? Because we haven't really been to a whole lot of them, because after we go to the ones that we fall in love with, we're just kind of like, ugh.
Well, and then after you've been burned a few times too. Yeah. But you're looking at least $20 plus a person.
Right. Significant.
And fast food, even if you saw our video on fast food a couple months ago, or it's been probably last year even. Yeah. The cost of fast food per person is crazy. So we prefer to eat at home, or we go to Costco. Like when we go to Costco, we'll stock up and bring snacks with us, like in the car. Like we said, a lot of these are from Costco. Just keep that in mind. What a lot of people do, and what we recommend to our family when they come through Anchorage, hey, stop at Costco if you can.
Pick us up some stuff.
Yeah, load us up. But also, if you're going to be taking some road trips before you come see us, which is what my family's going to be doing, go to Costco, get a cooler. Yeah. Stock up on snacks and drinks, and then go do your road trips, and then just have some picnics, because first of all, that's part of the fun of Alaska.
Yeah, it's so beautiful out there. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, and we're going to talk more about that here in a little bit too. Is just like, why live in Alaska? Why come to Alaska in general?
Yeah. But definitely enjoy the picnics and the road trip snacks, but we just don't think the food is the greatest for the price. So, but it doesn't hurt to try. No, we're not saying not to try. We're just saying be prepared if you're coming from the lower 48, because I think a lot of people are pretty surprised.
Yeah, they do seem to be. I know we were, but at the same time, there's many places that if we wouldn't have tried them, we wouldn't have found what we enjoyed. So yeah. But that's the other thing too. Just like you were saying, I mean, coming to Alaska, if you're coming here to go fishing, let me tell you something. Get the fresh fish while you're here, right? If you're going to catch a fish, cook it.
Cook it. And that's what a lot of these people do is at their Airbnbs, they will cook their fish, which you should.
At least one, right?
Yeah.
Freeze the others, get them shipped back home, but take one of them, get it cooked up for yourself, enjoy it. Yeah. Because, I mean, that's the beauty of catching those beautiful red salmon if you're coming here to catch that. I mean, or the halibut, of course. Halibut is, that's the king of the sea fish, in my opinion, because I love the way halibut tastes. So,
Well, speaking of food, we are gonna crack open.
Is baby hungry?
Baby's hungry. Looking at these snacks the whole trip.
I'm actually eyeing those berries. I can't wait till blueberry season, and oh my gosh, and all the berries and the raspberries.
You know, and this is what date day or date night is for us nowadays, and we have no problem with it. You know, when you have kids, you just make the best of what you can. And with the ATV, we can't wait to go home and have Harrison see it because, yeah, I think he's going to be pretty excited.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be stoked.
And it is what you make it, and we wouldn't have it any other way. But while we're eating this, make sure you comment below and tell us kind of what your prices are, where you're at, because we love to hear about prices, especially grocery prices. And then tell us, you know, what your favorite date thing to do is. If you have kids or grandkids, tell us some simple date ideas, because now that we're having baby number 3, you know, this is kind of what we're doing, and we're okay with it, but we want to know what you guys do.
We're lucky to get out and do this.
Yeah. Even if it's like, and how often do you do it? Do you do it weekly, monthly? So yeah, make sure you comment below and tell us what you do.
Yeah, and look how big these strawberries. How big are these strawberries? Holy moly.
And of course,
these were the organic too, right?
Those are the organic. All the fruit's organic, and it's huge.
That's crazy.
And of course, I gotta start with the cookie.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
I love berries and strawberries and meat and cheese. That's my thing, you know.
And there's something about eating out in the woods.
Yeah, it's so calm out here. It's so peaceful.
And it's so peaceful.
It's weird not to see a single soul out here and not to hear anybody like doing anything. No shooting, no driving.
No traffic.
But we are kind of far out into the woods.
We are. And although we miss them, I am enjoying the peace and quiet.
Yeah, for a second. Might have to take a siesta or something.
I know, right?
A little nap. Jeez.
Can we just take a nap right now?
I know, right?
No, we miss our littles, but it is nice just to get away because it doesn't happen often. And that's the other thing. When you're up here without family, you don't get a lot of breaks.
No.
And it's been hard, but it's been well worth it. We are glad we're in Alaska, but not having family here all the time to help is hard.
Yeah, we're just focusing on ourselves as a core family, you know, right now. You and I spent a lot of wonderful years, and maybe that's why we did spend so long together. We spent 9 years together before we even got married. And then, you know, another year after that before we even had kids. So we have 10 years of just enjoying you and me.
Yeah, we were together a long time before we had kids. We traveled, we had fun, and, you know, now without family, we take our kids everywhere and do everything with our kids. And honestly, wouldn't have it any other way.
No, I love having kids.
Harrison loves to be with us, loves to learn, and we encourage it. So they're with us all the time, except like this very rare occasion. Yeah,
our hour away, or maybe we can make it an hour and a half with a nap. All right, well, we're going to chow down and we're going to get on to the next drive here in just a little bit. Looks like there's a path that runs up here to the left. We're going to go up and go see what's in that direction. Yeah. And we're going to go over some more topics once we get over there.
Because nothing was changing, but with you it's so clear. And now that you're here, I see colors in every spectrum. Guess I finally learned my lesson.
All right, so we just made it to our third spot here. Really beautiful bluff over here, which I really enjoyed that. That's a nice view, huh?
It is a nice view. We're really high up.
Yeah, we are. But so our next topic is we're going to talk about the price of staying in an Airbnb here. So price-wise, I've seen $180 to $300 a night, which is really, that's kind of typical for around here. Maybe a little bit more expensive if you're on the river itself. Yeah,
it depends on the location, but yeah, definitely if you're on the water here, the river, you are paying a lot more than that. And a lot of people book, you know, you want to book at least probably a year in advance, right? Because of supply and demand, right? Because Soldotna is not a huge place. And so you want to make sure that you have your stay booked. And then also something to note, if you've ever stayed in Airbnb, you know that there's a lot of additional fees now, cleaning fees and a bunch of other fees. And if you have kids like we do, Airbnbs aren't really the place for us because of, you know, somebody's house and worried about them breaking stuff. And if you have pets, you know, all that. So hotels are a little bit cheaper probably than the Airbnbs, but like we said, supply and demand. If you are planning on coming, you need to book well in advance. And like we talked about with our living situation, until we get the other bedrooms built, our family is going to be doing Airbnbs because that's what we have right now.
Yeah, we're looking at maybe getting an RV, but that's kind of down the line, maybe. Hopefully sooner than later, but we'll see.
Yeah. we'll see, but it's just a little bit more of an inconvenience for family and people visiting us. But that's just where we are in our life right now. And with kids running around and screaming and up all night, newborn wake every 2 hours. I don't think anybody would want to stay with us. I don't even want to stay sometimes. So
somebody send me to the couch, right?
right. Send me to an Airbnb. But so yeah, just something to think about because it is expensive and it does book up quickly. Something else I wanted to touch on real quick, tours.
Oh yeah, the tours, yeah. Tours can be very expensive. I remember last year we took a boat tour. I think we have a video actually on it where we went and saw the whales. Yeah.
Kenai Fjords.
I can't remember if it was just the Kenai Fjords or just the whales.
It was specifically for the whales.
Yeah. Well, we did get to see a lot of whales, didn't we? We got to see fin whales,
orca whales.
orca, which was what my dream was. I wanted to see orca whales in their natural environment. But that trip alone with family was $800. I mean, it was your mom and dad and then us, and that was $800 for that trip. So that's pretty pricey. I mean, things get expensive. What was it, 2 years ago, I think, whenever we first came up here, I went on a trip. Now, I don't have a video on that because I wasn't filming at the time. That was a $400 fishing trip. And yeah, I got some halibut. I got 2 halibut, and which is really nice. Beautiful, delicious fish.
But it was a half day, right?
And it was a half day. Yeah, it was a half day. So $400 for those trips. Now, I will tell you, if you're going to come to Alaska, those trips are worth it. But yeah, they're expensive though. I mean, but who doesn't spend money when they're on vacation? So.
Right. But yeah, with family coming up in the summer, they want to do stuff, which who can blame them? You're coming all the way over here. You're paying all this money. Of course, you want to go see things. Of course, you want to do things.
Yep.
But once again, just keep in mind that stuff books up ahead of time. And it is expensive. You're going to be spending, especially on these fishing trips, half day, full day. It's more expensive for the full day.
Yeah.
But you're going to be spending at least a couple $100 per person.
Yep.
But, it's worth it because a lot of the fishing is guaranteed. But, just stuff to think about. But even just this family visiting, I mean, I know we're, they're like, could you get any further away? Well, probably. But yeah, it was just, we love to have family visit, but we know that it is a little bit of an inconvenience.
A price inconvenience.
Inconvenience, yeah.
But that's okay though. I mean, we're at the vacation spot now, so.
Yeah, so yeah, at least there's stuff to do when you come visit us, but it is expensive. But yeah, if you're coming here, you definitely want to do the fishing and the bear tours. So worth it. And honestly, if you're physically able, there's a lot of free stuff to do.
There
a lot of parks. You get to see a lot of beautiful scenery and a lot of wildlife. So just keep that in mind that, you may want to do a couple of the tours that cost money, but there is a lot of free stuff too.
Which, speaking of, that's actually one of the reasons why we ended up getting a side-by-side was because even though there's a lot of free stuff, like you can go hiking and all that, with little babies, it's a little bit more difficult. I can only strap one on at a time. So, but now that we have an ATV, we can actually go further, do more things with the kids, that is, and be able to enjoy the scenery here. Because that is one of the free things there is to do, is to enjoy scenery. Now it'll just cost the price of gas. So, which is good. And there's a lot of that you can get for free while you're here too. You don't need to have a side-by-side, obviously, to do those things, but there are trips that you could do and plan with tour companies to do those types of trips if you want to. But that's one of the main reasons why we decided to go ahead and go for an ATV.
But one thing to note, if you live in Alaska as a family, there's not a lot of entertainment around here. There's not, like, if you live in a big city, there's movie theaters and bowling, and there's just kids there's a lot of kids stuff, a lot of family stuff, zoos and parks, and with the weather the way it is here, only having so many months in the summer,
you want to take advantage of it.
And
Alaska's entertainment is focused on the outdoors.
Yes.
And there's a lot of beauty to be had. A lot of beauty, just like we are seeing today.
And we Absolutely are definitely gorgeous. Family focused and want to be outside. And so we thought this would be a good way for us to enjoy it year round. That's why we got the enclosed one with the heater for the kids. So whenever it's cold, we can still go do stuff, go camping, blueberry picking. But Alaska is focused on the outdoors. We have a lot of people ask us questions about, they're wanting to move up here, which is great. But just keep in mind, to go from, if you have a family, or to avoid being, going stir crazy in the winter, a snow machine or some kind of toy ATV it's not a must, but it definitely makes
it more enjoyable and makes it more bearable.
Yeah. A
lot of people come and go. If you look at like Alaska census, it's always waning. So it's like up and down because people come, they love the summer. The summer's absolutely gorgeous. They get to enjoy it. Then they stay winter. love the summer again, and then the next winter usually kind of gets to them, and then they decide to leave, and that's usually what happens.
And it's because if you're here, you need to be outside and be active. There's free stuff to do in the winter, snowshoeing, sledding, stuff like that.
Yep.
But
Cross-country skiing.
That's
a big thing here. But those are the people who are willing to get out there and try to enjoy those. And, you have to be able-bodied, too. That's the other thing.
Right.
You gotta be
But when
able-bodied.
you have small kids, our situation was a little bit different, and we want our kids to be included and get them outside. And this is how we thought we would do it.
One of the ways we can figure out how to make them enjoy that.
We needed something too. We have some videos coming up of a lot of work that we're going to be doing around.
Yeah. This is not just for play.
No.
We got this because we wanted to also use it for stuff around our homestead. So, I mean, we got a lot of stuff to transport. We got a lot of stuff to move around, and time is of the essence for a lot of this stuff. So I decided, well, this would be
short.
yeah, this would be an all over better thing to have for everything. So I'm excited about all the trips we get to take. So.
Yeah, it's work, but it's also play, and we're excited to share all that with you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're going to head back home, and we are going to go jump in the van because I actually need to go get some gas for this, and I need to go get gas for the van because we want to be prepared because we could have this baby at any moment. We never know. It's always a surprise for us because
this is the longest that I've been pregnant and just kind of surprised. And so we're not just putting out videos. We're not trying to make you guys wait.
We're waiting.
Yeah. We want to introduce you to our little one, but they're just still cooking.
Yeah, still cooking. So we're going to go get some gas so we can be prepared and be on top of it.
Yeah. And then when we get back, we are going to take Harrison out on the ATV and see what he thinks.
Yep. All right.
Glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.
Even through all the mud on the window there, the mountains look gorgeous, don't they?
They do. Yeah, the rain finally stopped, so I'm glad we got to enjoy the weather and go mudding a little bit.
And I think to myself, and I'm thinking out loud, we won't need nothing else for the rest of our time. And I know it so well, I will always be by your side.
Right now, diesel is $3.50 a gallon, and the V Power, which is, I guess, the Nitro Plus, is $3.94. Regular is $3.54. Heating oil is actually $2.99 right now. All right, got it.
All right.
I don't know who ever made those green little safety things on these. Oh my gosh, they're terrible. I think they did it because it was supposed to be more safe for the environment, not leak as much gas, but I swear it leaks more than like all the other ones.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of
They're
what it
not
was
easy
created
to
for.
use at
Yeah,
all.
terrible creation. Anyway, so yeah, gasoline prices here are actually not too bad right now. Probably going to see a price hike coming in June, I imagine.
Yeah.
It's usually when it does.
So last June and July, the highest that I remember seeing it was $4.18 a gallon.
Yeah.
Just another cost to be prepared if you come in the summer. The gas prices are going to spike pretty high, and that is because they can, right?
Yep.
It's tourist season. Why not? It's their kind of philosophy. So along with food prices, they're
Yep.
going to hike up the gas because they know that most people coming here are renting vehicles, driving, and have RVs.
Yeah, RVs, very
We
expensive.
see a lot of vans like we have that people
Mhm.
rent or that own. So yeah, they're gonna take advantage of it. But it's the best way to get around Alaska and see all the beauty.
All the
So
beauty there is to behold here. All right, well, we're going to head back home, and then we're going to take Harrison out
yeah, I'm so
on the ATV.
excited to see his face.
Yep, all right. What do you think, Bubba? What do you see?
Dee.
Is it-
amazing?
Is it amazing?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Go outside and see it.
Yeah, and I did.
You want to ride it?
Go outside and ride it.
Yeah.
All right. You excited, huh? Here's the key. Are you excited?
Yeah.
All right, let's go do it.
Yeah, my puppy Dee.
Come on, Bubba. You want to get in? Come on.
Huh?
Wow. What do you think?
Get in here.
Get in here, huh? What do you think, huh?
Daddy, shut door.
Yep. All right, you want to start it? Put the key right there. Ooh.
That's a shy fish.
Start it. There you go. Wow.
Shy fish.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. All right, you ready? All
Yeah.
right, we're going to back up first, okay?
So excited.
All right, let's do this. Whoa. ATV, huh? All right, you ready? Is that fine? All right. Let's go get the food, huh? Go get the chicken food?
Oh, no, right.
Yeah, I got to get the chicken food right here. Look.
And turn it off?
Yeah, we're going to get that chicken food first. All right, you ready to go feed the earth?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Did you like that? Is it fun?
Yeah.
Come here.
Let me hit.
Big jump. Good job. You ready to go? Yeah. All right. What do you think, huh?
Nice.
You like the ATV?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun, huh?
Oh.
Is that lots of fun?
Yeah, not at the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Ah, see.
Is that fun?
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you ready to go see the baby? Yeah.
My favorite snowbird. Now we'll come around here so we can hear that heartbeat.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah. Oh, it's just so steady and strong. I love it.
That's satisfying.
Good. 135. Okay, that's perfect.
Did you see your brother? Or was it your sister?
Just finished another appointment and baby's looking good. Could be any day still. So Harris's prediction is tonight. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's getting closer. So just praying everything goes the way it should and just kind of a waiting game. So we'll see. Harrison, what do you think? You think it's going to be tonight?
Well, we hope you enjoyed the video and enjoyed watching Harrison have a good time too.
Yeah.
He really enjoys it as well. Getting out there to go mudding. It was a much prettier day in the afternoon for sure. But
Yeah.
now that had an opportunity, we were able to sneak out here. I think it's time for a nap.
I think it's time for a nap too. Can we just
I'll just sleep right here.
excuse us while we We're already so sleep deprived, so
Yep.
the newborn's really not gonna matter. But
Yep.
one thing that I don't know makes me happy was watching Harrison.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the excitement and just being able to watch him and
Grow up, yeah.
enjoy it and just the excitement. And It's just
Mhm.
worth it. It really is worth it. It's worth living in Alaska and being off grid and having certain things. So we're really blessed,
Yep.
and we can't wait to share the baby news with you soon.
I know, excited.
So we thank you guys for staying with us until the end.
Yep. Thanks for watching Good Living Alaska, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Oh, let's go nap.
The humming of the motor.
I know.
I think I was
And not tomorrow.
This is how we're gonna end it, actually. Today was a good day.